gonna be a hot, hot summer, folks. Here we go. It's starting. The 𝗬𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗍 erupts. LA, Paramount, Los Angeles. Population, 53,000 people, mainly Hispanics, about 80% Hispanics, is now protesting and turning into riots. One person already dead. I'm going to be bringing 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗁 on. 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗁 is you may have seen in a lot of his shows. He's all over the place. Former or retired Border Patrol senior leader in the United States Border Patrol. This guy knows his stuff, folks. I'm going to be bringing him on. We're going to be commentating about this. We're going to be showing some live footage about what's going on. I got Alex doing all the magic in the background, and I got 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗁 coming on, folks. This is going to be a great segment. This is happening live. It's developing right now. Right now. For such a time as this, you wonder. First, I just want to pose this question. Go back to any of my videos the last 5 years. I said when the borders are open, they will be activated. And it doesn't even have to happen as manufactured or engineered that day. It was manufactured and engineered by having open borders. And now we're here. I don't think these are going to calm down. Now, this is just a guess. I don't think these are going to calm down. I think these are going to escalate, especially when there's a death like has happened today. Now, we're not fully sure on that. I'm going to ask 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 about more about this. But, folks, get your noble gold. Here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That's 100,000 in savings today. That could feel like 50,000 by the year 2031. But there's a way to protect and preserve your money, and that's gold, folks. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to own gold or silver, and you know it's spiking right now. No pressure, no call centers, just honest one-on-one support. Open a qualified account today, and you get a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar. Sounds pretty good. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Noblegoldinvestments.com. Get started on it. Also, folks, I got Ringside with Nino. That's up and running on my ninoscorner.tv. You're going to want to get over there. I'm going to be bringing amazing guests on. Right now, I have 𝗓𝗍 up there talking about Palantir and what it really is and how it was intercepted. So if you're going to be if someone's going to be the bully on the block, the way I understand this artificial intelligence, it might as well be us. And that's the way he explains it. But he goes into a lot deeper detail, talking about the alliance, the deep state, the war, the operation. It's an amazing podcast that's up right now, 𝗓𝗍. Also, if you're a General's Tent or Major's Tent subscriber on ninoscorner.tv, remember, you'll get a link for the Ringside with Nino. Ringside Nino is a new additional tier on ninoscorner.tv where you get to see me and interact with me on Zoom twice a month. And we war game the deep state. It's for the whole Black Sheep community. And without further ado, folks, I'm going to bring on 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 right now. JJ, thank you for joining me, man. It's a privilege.
Well, man, thank you very much for having me. This is the beginning. I warned about this. We talked about this prior. I've written about it in my books. This is this is a firestorm just about to ignite. You had at least one person that has been killed right now. That's what X is saying. I've been scouring, trying to verify it, but the video shows that he's completely knocked out. And I believe that they say the individual died in the hospital. So we are I think we're within days, unfortunately, of a law enforcement officer being severely injured or killed. And then it's
in other words, they're going to go tit for tat. They're going to want to take one of them. This is what starts it right here. This is how it begins. They're already burning American flags on the street, waving the Mexican flag. So we're looking at Paramount here. And Alex, if you could start showing some footage. Yeah. So Paramount, California, population 53,000. 80% of it is Hispanic. They're burning American flags. They're waving Mexican flags. And they look like they got some gear, JJ. I mean, it's not just the rocks they're throwing. They're wearing helmets. It's only a matter of time before they start shooting, right?
It's just a matter of time. Let's say that I'm down there. I was the senior leader in the Border Patrol, and the Border Patrol agents are going to be called into this. They already are. I'm starting to see their uniforms in there. So they're starting to come. It looks like there's armored vehicles, BORTAC, which is the Border Patrol SWAT equivalent of a SWAT team. You get bricks thrown at you, you get stuff thrown, you feel boxed in, then it's a deadly force. I'm taking my gun out, and I will tell. If I was still in charge, I would tell my agents, the moment you feel boxed in, the moment you feel as if your life is in danger, pull. No more non-lethal. You pull out your weapon. That's how we're not going to lose one of you guys. Not one of you guys to these savages. And don't think that these agents are talking to each other and saying, "I got your back. If this happens, this is what we're going to do," because it's going to be chaotic, my man. This is not going.
We know what weapons they're using right now. Are they just throwing? What are they? Molotov cocktails? Are they rocks? What are they throwing at the agents? Do we know?
Well, yeah, we just had the deputy director of FBI, 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗁, put out an all hits bulletin on a guy that was throwing rocks, as big rocks, as Border Patrol agents' vehicles are driving down the road, and they're throwing it, hitting in the windshield. And then so now they're trying to figure out who that person is and put him in jail. Listen, you and I talked about this just briefly. If Donald, this is all going to come to a head, all to a head. You have families of illegal with
leave out that part, but illegal immigrants,
illegal immigrants.
I don't want to lose my channel, JJ. Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. Hey, this is just built in me. Let's just call them what I've always called them all through my time in the Border Patrol. So all of these savages and the sympathizers for the savages that are in America is going to come to a head. And what I mean is they are not going to stop. The savages, are not going to stop. And Donald Trump is going to be forced to meet violence and strength with more violence and more strength. And there's no coming back from this. He either has an absolute destruction of summer love like he had in 2020, or he's going to take control. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this battle, to be quite honest with you.
Well, like what we saw in 2020, imagine now if this guy dies. Okay, if he really is dead, and they use him as the martyr or the symbol of this movement, and then next thing you know, this is happening across the country. You get what I'm saying?
But it already is happening across the country. I mean, you're showing me pictures of New York, Minnesota, Los Angeles. You're just going to spread to Texas and Arizona. It's already happening in Florida. It's happening up in Washington. It's spreading. It's like a cancer. It's already spreading right now. And the person we're talking about that has claimed to have died is Border Patrol or ICE was moving a white van. I don't know if they had detainees in it or not, but just a big box van. And he had one of them standing in front of the van trying to stop it. Like, you can't go over me. And he trips as the van's going forward, and you can see his body whiplashes, and he smacks his head on the pavement. And they're saying that he died. If I'm in the van as a supervisor, or I'm on the phone with my agent that's driving, I'm telling him, do not stop. Whatever you do, do not stop. If you have to run him over, run him over. You're not going to stop and to let 50 savages get around you. Now, because you stopped, you have 50 savages around you breaking your window. What are you going to have to do as a law enforcement officer? You have to take your sidearm out, and you're going to have to people away. So in one person, you're going to have 30, 40.
But I would imagine that they're going to start bringing some artillery to the fight too, because it seems that these illegals are not going to just go home quietly. They know the end result for them. They're getting deported. They're going to leave with a bang, right? I mean, these MS-13 gang members, Mexican mafia, the whole thing, they're here to cause chaos. They don't know any other which way. They're going to fight to the death, right?
Yeah, this is what I said and written in both my books. Listen, you're going to have people that are going to self-deport. They're going to see this, and they're going to I don't want any part of this. I'll take the $1,000 and a plane and a free plane ticket back to 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁, or I'm going to go back to Egypt or wherever the hell they're from. They're going to do that. Then you have a massive segment of this illegal migrant population. Okay, I know. I'm sorry. It's built in my body. Okay, so that are not going to leave, man. They're not going to leave. They were sent here for a reason. They're either terrorists, soldiers, or they're gang members. They're not going to leave. This is going to get worse. And now you just had the chief of police in Los Angeles came out just moments ago and said, we're not helping. We're not helping ICE. We're not helping Border Patrol. No, he's not going to deploy any officers.
Police sector standing down.
Yep.
That's not good. So
because of sanctuary city. Well, why wouldn't he? He's at the mercy of Karen Bass. Karen Bass said, I'm not going to supply any help for ICE. I'm not going to do anything. In fact, I'm going to do everything I can to shield these illegal migrants. So what's going to happen? Look, it's going to blow up. You know it. I know it. It's going to blow up. You're going to get one nut job's going to come out and start shooting, or you're going to have Agent Field boxed in. He's going to start shooting, and then it's going to just be I predicted this, damn it. And I said, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right, but it doesn't take a genius to figure it out that this is exactly what's going to happen.
And this plays right into the globalist game plan of overthrowing America, basically through chaos, through division, through civil war. I mean, this could easily spiral out if we don't put a lid on this right now, JJ, right? So I've had guests on, and people know my guests, 𝗬𝗏, and a whole bunch of different other ones, but Juan has repeatedly said that the people that have been read in on this have gamed out that we could lose 13 to 15 cities through this kind of what's happening right now. Meaning LA is one of them, and they're mainly, guess what, sanctuary cities.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that this is just kicking off. He also indicated that the summer will be hot, real hot. Look at this. Look what's happening right here. So that's what's happening. So we should expect this to escalate and spiral out of control. Chaos, division. I guess the first time, I mean, they already one death, but let's say the first time they start firing back, JJ, when do we bring in the military?
Well, that's my next point, Nino, is I don't know if your audience understands this, but do you know that we have less than 6,000 ICE officers in America?
I had
6,000. So you have per the government data, 40 million. Don't even listen to Donald Trump. He doesn't even says it correctly. The real number of elites in America is over 50 million. You want to just go off of the data of the federal government, it's 40 million. 40 million, 6,000. Let's round it up to 10,000. Let's say they get some FBI, ATF, and Border Patrol get sprinkled in there. 10,000. 10,000 officers are going to arrest and deport 50 million. It's not going to work. Now you're going to tell me I'm going to take my ICE teams into cities that are sanctuary, and I'm not going to get no help from the police. They're going to stand down. Then I need the full military. And look, I don't know if you have the videos. We have armored vehicles with law enforcement officers riding on the side, having to go in and get protection support for the officers. You know, the last time, Nino, I saw that was when I was in the border, United States Border Patrol, as I watched federales drive up and down Revolution Avenue on the sides of truck and armored vehicles. Yep. That is how bad it now is in America. And I lay it all at the feet of those disgusting, evil Democrats and those gutless, complicit Republicans that allowed this to happen.
I was at the wall not too long ago, and they had, which that their military is controlled cartels. The federales, all of them, and they had two pickup trucks going back and forth by the wall. Yep. With machine guns mounted on them, and they were just cruising on a pickup truck, and trying to show our guys that they had force too. I think I've seen, me being here on the border, and you being a Border Patrol agent. I don't think there's anybody better to speak on this than you and I. To be quite honest, I was raised on both sides of the border. I've lived in El Paso and went to Juarez my whole life, and I know what they used to do as younger, like 𝗬𝗏 when we were younger. They used to rob the trains, and they're saying that's a problem now. They were doing that forever. They've been doing that forever, robbing the trains, doing all that stuff. But I've been blue in the face telling people military-aged men are coming here. I've seen them jump the fence, dude. I couldn't do that shit in my prime in boxing. I can't jump the fence they did. I'm talking Cirque du Soleil shit. Jump the fence and then drop down on their knee, on their feet, land on their feet, look around, and then run through the freeway missing cars. Bro, I've seen this time and time again with tattoos all over their face. We drove by one of them when he jumped the fence, and he looked right at me cold in the eyes like a killer does. And I'm telling people, like, you don't understand who's here. They're not going to just self-deport. That's not what's going to happen.
No, and when you look at the arrest report of the United States Border Patrol, in 4 years, Joe Biden arrested and then released over 12 million, approximately 12 million. 60 to 70% of them were single adult military-aged men from the continent, Africa, Middle East, the voodoo nation of Haiti, and the mental insane asylum and jails of Venezuela. That's why you see treason. That is why I labeled it treason. Joe Biden and those bastards destroyed our sovereignty. in order to fundamentally transform the United States of America. And they brought in hardcore savages into our country. Look, every single day, Americans assaulted every single day. And how are we going to eradicate these people from our society? You're not going to, we can't, the days of everything being half-assed are over. They're just over. But you have
to be taken care of with full force now.
With the full force. But here's the problem. When you look at Tom Homan, who I'm a big fan of, he's doing the best he can. Do you know that he's underfunded? Meaning he does not have the resources, the planes, the facilities, the officers, the actual cash money to do this. Do you know he doesn't have it? Why? We control the House, the Republicans. You know what? The Republicans sure in the hell found tens of billions of dollars to send to Ukraine these last 2 years, didn't they? Under Speaker Johnson. How much money have they given to Donald Trump to remove these people from our country? That would be zero. Zero. We're waiting for funding from the big, beautiful bill. That's how they're handcuffing us.
Look at this person right here, how brave they are, pointing in the face of is that a Border Patrol agent there or a police? But
that looks like a sheriff.
Okay, a sheriff, but he's pointing in his face, like taunting him. Like, these people are serious. They're going all the way with this. They feel justified, JJ.
Well, they feel passionate about it. Here's my. All right, I have to be careful how I say this. Okay.
Yeah.
Since the Ferguson incident in Missouri, they call it the Ferguson effect. You've had massive amounts of agents and officers like myself leave through retirement and or just quitting. On top of that, you have generations of law enforcement officers that are afraid to do their job. And then you have no backfill, meaning no one's coming in to train. So you have no new. So what you have are officers and agents that are afraid to do their job. Look, if somebody came into me and poked me, that guy's going down. He's going to have road rash. I'm going to cuff him and I'm going to throw him to the side. I'm going to go to the next. Why are we not doing that? Why do we not have lines? Why is there no riot control? Where in the hell are the backup for our agents? Look at that mess on your screen. Why don't we have, what is it, about 1,000, 2,000 people, they said? That's fine. Let's take a playbook out of President Bukele out of El Salvador. You know what he does when he finds out there's one MS-13 member in a barrio somewhere? Do you know how many law enforcement and military he sends? Nobody knows this. He sends 2,000 military officers. Why? Because it wants to be no problems, and he wants everyone to see that if you step out of line, I'm going to crush you. Where is that military in LA right now? Where is it? It's not there because we don't have the courage. We're an impotent group of Americans right now.
Let me war game with you just a little bit here, JJ. No better person than you here. Okay, so sanctuary cities will not comply. What happens? Do we just stop the funding? What does Trump do?
Well, Trump does. He's like, okay, let's take an example, right? This is Los Angeles. So Gavin Newsom is now threatening to not give their coffers where they pull out money from paychecks to the federal government. That's fine. We're not going to give you any money, Gavin Newsom. California is almost $1 trillion in debt. $1 trillion and bleeding by the billions every day. They will implode. California needs the federal government to give them money. So you starve them. And then you put in all of your military in these areas and you eradicate. And you put out you can PCA, you can send announcements out. Listen, this is a national emergency. If you touch an agent or a military person, you will be arrested for assault. I'm letting everyone know, and follow through with it. Start making the arrest.
What do we do about people like Gavin Newsom in sanctuary, or the mayors, the governors that will not comply? Does it get to a point where we say, all right, it's time to arrest them?
Yes.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, Stephen Miller came out and posted something today right as this was going on. And he was talking directly to Karen Bass and said, Karen Bass, you either help or get out of the way because federal law trumps your jurisdiction. And if you stay in our way, then you will be arrested. So these mayors and city councilmen, The moment they get involved and start to impede or to help or to hide illegal, they now have committed a felony under 8 U.S.C. 1324. Stop dancing around and do what you know has to be done. Start making arrests, start making examples out of these people, and guess what? They will leave. They're cowards. Look, do you think that woman has any allegiance to the United States of America? You grew up in the barrios out in El Paso. I worked in the barrios in San Diego. There's no allegiance to the United States of America.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening right now, JJ? Here in El Paso, and I'm seeing a lot of this. And I'm seeing a lot of Mexican flags being flown at houses. Like, and in apartment complexes, they're waving them out of the houses, out of the windows. I mean, I'm like,
yeah.
And
you know this, and I don't know if your audience knows this, but this is the mindset of, and it's not just Mexicans in El Paso and San Diego and Tucson. It is Mexican nationals or Central Americans. The majority of all the other 180 nations, the Egyptians and all that, they've already scattered into America. They stay close to the home. There's no allegiance to the United States of America. It's only allegiance to their country. And the Mexicans think that the Southwest is Aztlan. That's their magical, mythical belief that Mexico owned all this. And when you talk to the Mexicans, they don't even know their own history. They've been free for like 15 years. The Spaniards owned them, and the Spaniards still own them right today.
The whole reason they speak Spanish.
Yes, because there were Indians, they were Native Americans. And you want to talk about a group of racist people that you can't even fathom the level of racism? Go to Mexico. Go to Mexico and have dark skin. See how well you do. Go ahead.
I already know that. Yeah, after my fights, I witnessed that firsthand. My grandfather is as dark as a raisin, and they were very prejudiced against him in his own country in Mexico. And I remember even after my fights, we went to this club called Clásico after the Monterrey fight. In Monterrey, let me tell you, that's a lot of money there. Socialites, people with a lot of money there, elitists. And I went to a club after one of my fights, and I brought my whole crew with me, and a lot of them had really dark skin. Guess what they said? They're not allowed in here.
Yep.
And I said, what? And I go, what are you talking about? And I walk in the club, everyone there, 5'10", 5'11", blonde, blue-eyed, speaking fluent Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it. And they were blatantly, like, in my face telling me, you can come in and he can come in, but not them.
Well, if you go to Mexico, and everyone knows this, when you go to Mexico, the lighter the skin, the Spaniards are the top. They rule everything. And then it's the darker Mexican, then it's the Native American, and then blacks are underneath the Native Americans. And that's how they treat them. Look, we're watching videos here of these police officers. Where in the hell is their backup? Where in the hell is their backup?
So
it boggles my mind. Here's something I'm going to say, and I hope it doesn't come off wrong. Donald Trump, sir, you knew this was going to happen because you had to have been planning for over 2 years now. Where was the strategic planning in this? Where's the airplanes? Where's the holding facilities? Where's the lawsuits and judges? Where's the funding? Where's the officers? Where is it all? And it looks like a failure to me. And I know people in my own side are going to say, JG shouldn't talk that boldly. I'm looking at the screen and I'm saying what everyone's thinking. How's this allowed? How do you have 50, 100 officers? Why do you not have 10,000? 10,000 pushing them down.
I would say, I think they're letting it get out of hand for the right time to bring in the military. That's what I think. I think it's kind of has to play out like this a little bit, and then boom, you do a sweep with the military. What are your thoughts on that, JJ?
Well, my thought is, as a former supervisor and had men under my control, do you think those men that are pushed up into their backs against the wall, they want to hear about the long game plan, or do they want backup? I know when I'm in there and I'm arresting the drug cartels and I'm fighting, I don't give a crap about your politics or how you want to play this out. I want my backup there, and I want help. Look at those officers. Their backs are against the wall, guys.
Wow.
There's nowhere for them to go. There's nowhere for them to go.
And this would be the perfect opportunity. I mean, you know, I've said this on my shows. I was always so surprised, JJ, and I'm sure you are too. Man, there hasn't been any cartel warfare. Not to the level that I thought it would be. I thought it was going to kick off around October, November, December time. But man, could we be seeing it now, JJ? Now would it be the time if the cartels were strategic, if they were planning this correctly? Wouldn't you say they would now implement into these protests or implement type of a cartel warfare? Wouldn't it be that? Wouldn't now be the time to do it?
I think what you're going to see with the cartels is they are going to not do anything as long as they can continue to move their product across the border. The moment we go to war, meaning Trump has declared war and we are actually sending our soldiers down to Mexico, what you will see then, mark my word and mark it right here, that the cartels will activate their cartel members in America. And that's when you're going to see and create incredible chaos, because the cartels are here. You know this as well as I do. And I've spoken to these gang savants, if you will. These are the guys that deal with all the gangs, and they've told me, listen, the old days, JJ, in the old days were 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, was the cartels moved the narcotics over the border. They turned it over to 18th Street Gang or whatever, MS-13 or the white national bikers, and then they distribute it. Those days are over. The cartel now have set up shop across America, and they hold all the distribution. They hold everything. They're not subbing it out to anyone else, no other gangs. They're controlling it. The cartels are here in America because we opened our borders and we allowed them to come in. Why? Yeah, why would your government do that?
I've heard some of the biggest labs are here in America as well, right? There's no need to even make it in Mexico anymore. With the Biden administration letting them all over here, they're like, man, we're just going to make the product here, correct?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? But they're still making it in Mexico. There's reports in 2023 going to 2024 that there was 2,000 Chinese scientists down in the northern states of Mexico. Why? Well, because they were pressing the pills. All the fentanyl pills, all the precursors come from China. So they're still making it over there. Why would you think of this? If you knew that there was a wide open border, meaning there's no border patrol agents and no checkpoint, there's no one roaming the highways looking for me, and I can push billions upon billions upon billions of pills, of fentanyl pills, millions of tons of hard narcotic, heroin and cocaine, and no one's going to stop me. Why would I do anything except produce it and ship it? That's all I would do. The border's still porous enough that the narcotics are still coming through. Look, man, I don't know why we're half-assing everything. I don't know why the border doesn't have the whole border wall built already, military bases being built on the border, eminent domain up and down the border, having that shut down completely. I don't know. I will give you an answer to one of our problems, and I will tell you this. DHS needs to hire a military general and allow that person to have oversight of all of the deployment of the military, supply lines, airplanes, detention facilities, everything. That's one of the missing pieces, is somebody that's been to a theater of war and knows how to handle this and creates the infrastructure in order to deport all these people.
I think as this kicks off, if my instincts are correct, I put just a couple days ago, I said many pivotal moves will be made between now and July 4th. And then the whole Elon thing came out, and I believe that kicked off a lot of this. Elon's going to be like could be their cheerleader or their quote unquote leader now. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I find it very, very triggering that it happened right before all this. I think all of these are coordinated events in some way, shape or fashion. But don't you think, JJ, that once word gets out that someone has passed away or died, and that hits, and they make a big move, they make the move of putting that face plastered on all the news everywhere, and it's a Hispanic kid, an illegal kid that was killed by a federal agent, that's when all hell breaks out even more.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for a moment.
That's
But here,
shoe
look,
that's going to drop, JJ.
I'm sorry.
That's the shoe. That's the shoe that's going to drop. Once that happens, in my opinion, all hell breaks loose.
Don't think that there's some Juanito from Guatemala that's going to get run over or shot. They're going to hold him up, and it's going to be like a Brago, an MS-13 human smuggler, narco smuggler, and they don't care. They'll just create a narrative and go. But why I'm so passionate about this, I'm looking at your videos, and I've seen all these videos. I'm irate, man. I'm irate because there's no effing planning going on. Where's the backup? Where's that crushing blow of, oh, you 100 people, we're going to take you to the ground right now and you're under arrest. This isn't peaceful protesting, guys.
No, this is them
This is
them trying to take over the country or take the country back, how they would think of it. This is straight up, we are out to kill. This is, look at that. They're in masks. Look at this.
Yes.
They're prepared. They're prepared.
They are. And I'm going to tell you once again. Okay, now can you stop? Can your producer stop it for a second?
Go ahead.
And I'm not being cruel here, okay? But I just saw there's about 20 guys inside and outside that frame, police officers. The back's against the wall. I'm looking at least 7 obese police officers.
Oh, you're right about that.
Okay? So let's just play this out. Let's say they get bum rushed. That overweight police officer that's at least 60 pounds overweight, he's never going to be able to fight. He's going to have a heart attack. Well, he's going to throw 2 or 3 punches, as you know this, Nino. He's going to be exhausted. He's going to fall down. Look at the guy right in front of you in the brown. Do you think he's going to fight? Do you think he's going to fight? Look at the guy right two over with his belly hanging out, and he's got a fupa. You think he's going to fight? You think the old man next to him is going to fight? The answer is no. What in God's name is going on right now in our law enforcement community? How is this allowed to stand? Why is our officers backs against the wall, ready to go to war? Where in God's name is the backup? Where?
That's what I'm saying. The only thing I can think, yeah, but that's because this is sanctuary, correct? They're not going to let them have the backup.
Okay, that's where I come back at you and say, okay, I know it's a sanctuary city. I work in the area. I know the whole state of California is sanctuary city. Why did you not plan enough? Why don't you have 500 military officers with water cannons, with the 50 cal on top? Where in the hell are they? Stop pussyfooting around, Donald Trump in America. Stop. Those are my brothers out there. They're going to get their ass handed to them because they're outnumbered, and the other side feels emboldened to do it because you never arrest anybody. We have no law and order in America. We're a bunch of beta males, impotent, fat Americans that don't know how to fight anymore. And to do this to these men, God dang it, man, their backs are against the wall.
They have a physical fitness test they have to complete. I mean, look at these guys. They look really, a lot of these guys look bad, JJ.
I know what it looks like, man. I mean, know.
That looks, I mean, dude, that guy's in jeans right there holding a police sign. See that guy right there? Jeans and white. Do you see that guy right there? Is that even a cop? Do you see that, JJ?
I see it, man. It infuriates me. It infuriates me.
Dude, are
you ready to go to war? That's probably an ICE officer. That's an ICE officer. They're wearing jeans and covering their faces. You know why who the only other group of people in law enforcement that cover their faces? Do you know who those are? Those are federales. Why? Because their government's so corrupt that the government and the cartels, which one and the same, will find out who they are and kill them and their families. These agents are having to cover their faces because mayors of cities, Karen Bass, O'Connell from Nashville, 𝗂𝗄𝗎, the leader of the Democratic Party in the House, have openly threatened to dox and or have doxed these agents. Why are they not arrested? Why are they not? 𝗂𝗄𝗎 came on the floor of the House and said, we will identify each and every one of you and let people know who you are.
Wow.
Hold on a second. Why are you not arrested, 𝗂𝗄𝗎? Because the Republican Party has no balls. They don't. And this is just the beginning, my friend. If you call me next week, you're going to go, I can't believe JJ, this is out of control. This is beyond anything I knew.
think the
This
border
will
cities
snowball.
get hit this bad?
Excuse me?
You think the border cities will get hit this bad, or
I don't think the border cities will get hit that bad. Well, let me take that back. The immediate, like you're down in El Paso, you know there's a difference between being in El Paso and then being right on the border fence, right?
Yeah.
So you have the barrios. You got National City. You got San Isidro. You have Chula Vista, parts of Chula Vista. These are all little barrios around San Diego, just south of San Diego. All 100% Hispanic, 100% Mexican and Central American. Mexican flags waving all over the place. It used to drive me insane to live there and see Mexican flags. Do me a favor, audience. If you think I'm this is too much, this is hyperbole, why don't you take a big American flag and walk your ass down to Juarez or Tijuana and walk around and wave that flag saying, "Viva America."
Oh,
Yeah. It ain't gonna happen. What would happen, Nino?
You get shot.
Shot, not punched, not beat up. Somebody'd walk up, put a gun right to your head, and blow your stupid head right off.
She wrote, "No way in hell."
No way in hell.
No way.
So why do we allow that to happen? Why do we allow that to happen in America?
Good question. It's just, and it's everywhere. And I'm going to say this right now, right here. This, and I know you agree with me on this, and that's why you're on here. This is the beginning. Here we go.
Oh,
right.
This is not. When somebody's looking at this, they're going to go, "Oh, that's really bad," but thank goodness it's calming down. I'm like, you're insane.
Who said it was calming down?
Now people are they're saying, well, it's going to get better, and no, it's not. It's going to get. This is the beginning of the summer, and no one's getting arrested, so therefore they're going to get more violent. All the whack jobs are going to come out, and there's going to be somebody that has been propagandized over and over and over again that we need to shoot. We need to be more violent. So our side, my side, I'm saying be more violent, be more aggressive, show more strength. Absolutely. Conversely to me, the enemy is saying the same damn thing, dude. Absolutely.
So as this plays out, JJ, can I get you on ninoscorner.tv to talk more about this in depth? And you can say whatever the hell you want to say on there.
Yeah, yes, of course. I would love to talk about this because
look at that cop. He's huge.
But at least he has some balls.
Yeah, he's got some balls, but he's going to be winded.
But look at they're throwing stuff. So, and before you say to me, well, that's just kind of like a softball sized rock, and they threw that giant, that rubber, see that thing they threw?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't think that's a big deal? Then why don't you come over to my house and I'm going to grab a rock, and about 10 feet away, I'm going to try to smash your skull with it and see if you think it's okay. And if you don't like that, I'm going to take a 50-pound rubber cone and I'm going to smack you right in your face. I'm going to try to gouge your eye out. I'm going to try to break your neck. Are you okay with that? No, they're not okay with that.
I believe we're seeing the police backed up. Holy cow.
See,
so telling me, JJ, you're telling me this is as good as it's going to get for the police because they're not going to have reinforcements?
Yes, because where the hell are they? I'm glad you're showing that video, because when I'm watching the video, I'm like, does anybody else see what I see?
Well, what's this right here?
That's a different city. Why is that times 100? See, when I'm saying there needs to be 100 armored vehicles, 100 board tack officers, I believe those are, without for 100% sure, those are board tack agents from the Border Patrol, specially trained, crowd control, the same agents that went up to Portland and tried and saved the federal buildings. Why do we not have this? Why? But maybe a bigger question, Nino, is this. Why in God's name do we have to have this in America? How did we get to this point in America that we need armored vehicles and police armed to the teeth? That says more to me about our nation, how divided we are, how propagandized we are, and how sick we are. Karen Bass right here, she'll say it if you play it. She'll say she's not going to help. She's not going to help.
Can you play that real quick?
Why is Los Angeles mad tonight?
They're mad because ISIS here.
Why?
Hundreds of thousands of Angelinos.
Why is Los Angeles mad tonight?
They're mad because ISIS here separating families, separating hardworking people. Everyone's getting
I knew this was coming.
Fury following the armored vehicles. About 10% of LA's population. That's just shy.
So this just started today, right, JJ?
Today, or yeah, I woke up. I saw a little of it. This is @𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏. A straight DEI hire.
They're mad because
What's she saying in that? She
we are a
says
city of immigrants.
this is what
And
she's
this
saying.
impacts hundreds of thousands of Angelinos.
Wow. So we're a city of immigrants, and it's so she's going
Well,
against.
you know that's a lie, right? That's what they always say, right? There's a difference. There's illegal immigrants and there's legal immigrants. You can't conflate the both of them. You're either here legally. No one in ICE is going there and going, oh, you're a Mexican national and you have papers. Okay, you're under arrest. Nobody's doing that.
I know.
No
No.
one's doing that saying, I have arrest warrants for you. We're hitting the Home Depot. We're hitting the garment district. I know there's hundreds of millions here. We're going to arrest you. I have arrest warrants for you. Look, man, this is never going to get better. Where's Gavin Newsom? Have you heard Gavin Newsom? Have you heard him make any
nothing.
announcement?
No, nothing. In fact,
Nothing.
I think I'm going to be glued to the internet and the TV tonight to see how this. I'm waiting for the first death. Now, you said it was that guy that hit the van or whatever, but I think they're going to propagandize somebody. Maybe him. I don't know. Could be him. But somebody is about to be the first death, and it's going to be big.
Okay. Look, let's play this out. Let's play that video out where you have 20 police officers, many of them overweight, backed up into the side of a building. They're getting stuff thrown at them. All of a sudden, now it's rocks. Now somebody gets shot at. An agent or officer gets hit in the head and falls down. All it takes is one of those guys to begin opening up fire.
Yeah.
And it's over. Now we're talking 10, 15, 20, 100 dead people.
Damn.
Wrapped in Mexican flags. You don't think that this is going to happen? Look, if I'm sitting there with my guys and I'm the guy in charge, I'm yelling out commands. Be ready to engage with firepower. I'm not going to go and talk to your wife or your mom and say, I was a gutless supervisor and allowed them to throw rocks and it hit your son in the face and killed him because I didn't have the courage to do what was right.
JJ, I don't think a lot of these guys are built that way, bro. If
No.
you want my opinion, I think they're cowards. I think a lot of the police and a lot of these guys out there with their shields backed up against the wall, I think they're cowards, man. And I don't think the men are built like the day that you and I are. And they're not cut from the cloth that we are, bro. I'm telling you that right now. They're just not, bro. I just know they're not.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you why I know that that's a factual statement, because I lived it, right? I was in 24 years, but I want your audience to go and just randomly pick Google, Facebook, exit, law enforcement make an arrest. What you will see is law enforcement officers actually arguing with the people they're going to arrest, asking them 7, 12 times to do something, backing up, not engaging. It's called the Ferguson effect. Law enforcement officers are afraid to make contact. This is how I used to do it. Let me tell you how we're different. The guys that grew up with me, that were my partners, we would tell you one time. We would give you a command one time, and as that command is leaving our mouth, we are moving forward to engage. I'm not letting you think you can have a discussion with me. You're under arrest. There's no gray area. Here I come. And if you make me get hands on you at 6'3", 230, I'm going to win. You're not winning.
And here's something else that I've been thinking about. A lot of these illegal immigrants that are here from South America, Mexico, Honduras, Venezuela, El Salvador, Venezuela. To me, they're hardened. They're ready to fight. They're coming here. They were raised on the streets. They didn't eat sometimes. They're raised in gangs. They are hard-minded, hard-nosed criminals. These cops are not. They were sheltered all their life. They went to a police academy. They sit in their police car. They don't know what to do. They just go to the range and shoot their gun occasionally. These dudes are not ready for this, bro.
No, they're not. Sadly, they're not, because they're not cut from the same cloth. Where I'm as fit as I was when I'm when I was 27 years old joining the Border Patrol. I'm the same guy. I could go right back, throw a uniform on, you wouldn't look anything different, and I'd be better because I'm smarter and wiser as I got older. But I never took any crap. And the guys that I worked with never, we knew what the Constitution was. We knew what was our guardrails. We knew what the laws and policies were. Then thus we became very efficient in our job because we didn't get into stupid arguments with people about stupid stuff. If you're illegal and I make contact with you, or it was a narcotic arrest or a human smuggling arrest, hey dude, all bets are off. You're doing exactly what I say, exactly when I say it, or I'm taking you to the ground, I'm cuffing you, and I'm going to own you. I'm going to physically own you. Because here's the thing, if I didn't have that mindset, then I would die. That's not hyperbole. That's not
the same. It's the same going to the thing.
It's the same thing. So but you're right. You're looking at 180 nations. You're looking at Middle Eastern, continent Africa. You're looking at all the hardened nations in Central America and Mexico. Hard street dudes that have fought their whole life. They're not going away.
Prisons, psychiatric wards, the worst of the worst.
And on top of all that, like you keep layering these type of people. Who are they? Where'd they come from? Then you lay on, I have nothing to lose. That's a terrible combination. I have nothing to lose. If I don't get by you, if I don't beat you up and get the freedom, you're going to put me in jail. All right, screw it. Here we go.
These guys, these cops have everything to lose. A lot of them have families, a home to go to. Ooh, that's a good point you bring up right there. They got nothing to lose.
They got nothing to lose. Nothing. Well, so let's say they hit a cop. What's going to happen to them? They get arrested. They're just going to get deported. Who's going to charge them? What district attorney in LA is going to charge? How many U.S. attorneys are going to prosecute him for hitting the police officers? Zero, because I went through it my whole life, my whole career, fighting people. They'll never go on those charges. There's nothing to lose. The cops have everything to lose. And then when your backs are against the wall, I'm not creating the situation. You just saw it. You have 20 cops, backs against the wall. The guy that's fat, he's basically obese, knows that he's fat and obese. He knows his limitations. He's seen the aggressors come to him. He's thinking in his mind, I don't have the stamina for this. Oh my God, who's going to take care of my wife? Who's going to take care of my kids? Oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, pull it out, punch out, boom, boom, boom. And the powder keg just exploded. Why? Because we were unprepared. We were in a sanctuary city and didn't think we needed more manpower. Dear God Almighty. You know why? I'm going to tell you, I need to say this out loud.
Go ahead.
The people that are running the Border Patrol, I worked with them. I know who they are. I work side by side. They're pathetic. They're pathetic. And you ask guys that just retired or are still in the job that know them, they would back me up 100%. This is called, I've never done the job, and I'm in leadership position trying to tell these people how to do their job. That's it. Right, what you just saw right there is a failure. That's a law enforcement failure that, thank God, nobody died. Thank God, no one died.
JJ, can I take you back to Nino'sCorner.tv to cover this more extensively?
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate you coming on, folks. Go to Nino'sCorner.tv. Alex, you there?
I'm here.
What's your thoughts on all this, brother? It's getting crazy.
It's getting crazy. Yeah, man. I think JJ is right. It's just
this is the beginning. He's right. He's the perfect person to bring on right now. Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, this is great. It's really great to get JJ's insight. Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for talking about it. Tough topic, but thank you.
Man, JJ. I'll see you at Nino'sCorner.tv. Let's talk about this more as this unfolds. Folks, till next time, I'll be back Monday. I got some good premieres coming up tomorrow, Sunday. The Big Lie. I think that's what I named it. I'm not sure. The Ultimate Lie. That's what it's called. The Ultimate Lie. That'll be on tomorrow. And I'm also putting Bo Pony up tomorrow as well. I got a doubleheader coming up tomorrow, Sunday. And I'll be back Monday for my morning show, folks. See you then. And until then, go to Nino'sCorner.tv. Signing out later. Thank you.